certain number that will be enough to get the drugs and the pharmaceutical companies bringing their product into our country. But, we've been taken advantage of for 40 years, maybe more. And it's just not going to happen anymore. But yeah, I'm certainly open to that.
It didn't come with tanks or tariffs, but with canceled boarding passes and silenced jet engines. In a move no one saw coming, Canada just grounded flights to America, putting 280,000 U.S. jobs at immediate risk. Airports are empty, businesses are panicking. And Trump? He's already calling it an act of economic sabotage. U.S. airline and airport authorities were left in disbelief when Canadian travelers frantically rescheduled or canceled job assignments, vacations, and business excursions. Hundreds of flights and ground fleets that were prepared for departures from Canada had to be canceled by a number of American airlines, including United, Delta, and Southwest. And the consequences for the economy? Already disastrous. An estimated 280,000 jobs related to Canadian-American air travel, such as airline crews, airport employees, tour operators, hotel employees, business liaisons, and support vendors, are now immediately at risk, according to sources in the aviation industry. Whole cities like Detroit, Seattle, and Buffalo that rely on international trade are preparing for a severe economic setback.
We never want to have to rely on other countries for that, like we did at COVID.
Sir, on the car tariffs and just the reciprocal tariffs, a lot of countries are making gestures and coming.
We can do something where we get something for it.
Mr. President, do you plan to?
Would that happen before the tariffs are announced?
We had a very good conversation with the Prime Minister. They've got an election going on, so we're going to meet after the election.
On the pharma tariffs, Mr. President, you've been talking about the pharma tariffs and what to expect there.
This is not just a transportation disruption, it's a direct hit to American small businesses, supply chains, and international partnerships, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce said in an urgent advisory. Diplomatic action must be taken immediately, and Donald Trump pounced quickly, as was to be expected. The former president was revved up when he took the stage at a crowded event in Florida. However, after hearing of Canada's action, he allegedly abruptly altered his remarks and launched into an angry outburst, saying, "Canada is canceling flights? Our airplanes? Folks, they no longer respect us. Under Trump, that never occurred. Trudeau was under our power. You are aware of how courteous he was to me. He addressed me as sir." He added, "At this point, American families are being upended, airports are losing their jobs, and Sleepy Joe is most likely still attempting to locate Ottawa on a map. Day one, I'll bring those flights back." Clips of Trump's tirade went viral on social media, particularly the portion where he said, "They're building a wall in the sky now." What is actually happening here then? According to analysts, there have been a number of covert conflicts between Canadian and American aviation authorities, some of which have subtly intensified in the past 12 months. Bilateral landing rights, environmental compliance, and air traffic control jurisdiction have already been seething beneath the surface. However, experts speculate that a contentious new U.S. aviation tax that targets international airlines and was discreetly implemented last month may have been the last straw. In Ottawa, the levy, which was intended to generate funds for American infrastructure, was seen as a targeted penalty, targeting Canadian airlines such as WestJet and Air Canada. "We are not willing to subsidize American airport expansions while our own carriers are being penalized," a Canadian transportation spokeswoman stated during a press conference. "These flight suspensions will continue until a just and reciprocal agreement is reached." In other words, this was no coincidence. This was a straightforward answer. Additionally, tourism isn't the only industry suffering. There are currently logistical issues for tech behemoths like Amazon, Apple, and Google, all of which have expanding cross-border operations with Canada. Executives cannot take flights. Teams are stuck. Now, big projects are in limbo. One of the busiest international work corridors, the innovation pipeline from Silicon Valley to Toronto, is abruptly shut down. Many Canadian students studying in the United States are either stuck or unclear of how to get back to their colleges as a result of the disruption. Insiders claim that Washington was caught off guard, again, despite the Department of Transportation's cautious statement stating that they are working closely with Canadian authorities to resolve the situation. "We're reviewing the matter. We expect this to be temporary," President Biden stated in a brief statement to reporters. However, the harm might already be done. According to travel experts, if this continues for more than a few weeks, the airline sector, which is already overburdened by the post-COVID reorganization, could lose billions of dollars. It takes time for international routes to reopen. They necessitate months of preparation, staff reallocation, security coordination, and reapprovals. Governors of border states are raising the alarm in the meanwhile. Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, made an urgent plea. Canadian tourists are essential to our local economies. Washington must intervene right away to resolve this. We can't afford to be interrupted again. Some Canadians on the other side of the border are praising the action as an uncommon display of power. According to one Canadian radio personality, this is about sovereignty. Canada has complied with American Aircraft Corporation's demands for years. Perhaps we're finally getting to our feet now. However, that stand is costing countless American workers their jobs. "Canadians flying in and out make up half of my business," a New York airport restaurant owner stated. "I'd had to send 10 people home today. Policy isn't important to me. Rent is." Conspiracy theories increase in tandem with tensions. The suspension has been characterized by some far-right pundits as part of a globalist plot to isolate America. Some claim it's economic punishment for the political unrest in America. The truth, however, appears to be far more straightforward and grave. Canada is exercising its economic might, and the United States was too preoccupied to notice. But Trump is using this catastrophe as a bludgeon for his campaign. Online advertisements featuring grounded aircraft with the slogan, "Biden Grounded," have already been launched by his team. Trump would have taken off. And whether you agree with him or not, it's obvious that Trump views this as evidence for his long-held assertion that they only respect us when I'm in charge. One thing is clear from the ongoing standoff. This is more than just a travel problem. It's a national embarrassment, a diplomatic problem, and a jobs concern. The days ahead will be crucial. Will the United States give up and change the aviation tax? Will irate business executives and its own stranded citizens put pressure on Canada to compromise? Or is this the start of a more extensive economic tit-for-tat between two of the world's closest allies? The skies stay silent until then, and 280,000 American workers are left waiting for a possible non-existent launch.